Yes, indeed. What's going on, everybody? CGA back in this building, the notorious one. Back in here for another vlog series. This is different from when I'm standing there with my headphones attached to my head and I'm speaking them actual factuals. The speaker of truth is here. The king of content is here. You know what I'm saying? The Bruce Wayne of this ish. We back in the building, man. Look, man, we're talking about the value of your time and commitment, how important it is to you and how we frivolously give that up. Hopefully in this series you can listen to this and you can listen to this and see how I live and have fun. You're welcome to the Bat Cave right here. This is the gentleman's lair, if you will. But check this out, man. Before we get into that, I want to show you something. I want to show you something that maybe you might not be understanding. And that is this point that I'm going to show you is going to reiterate a point that I make on my live streams where I talk about there's a price of admission, there's a price to get into something, namely a relationship, home purchase, a purchase of something luxurious. There's an entry point price, then there's a price of maintenance, then a price of repair. All right, so those are three different prices. And a lot of times, especially when we're talking about time and commitment, we think of what the cost is of something when we get it. And a lot of times we will only think about the cost of something that we purchase, all right? A watch, a jewelry, all right? A house, a car, a relationship. And then you will get into it and people will say, it's easy to get into it, just commit, all right? It's easy to get into a relationship, all right? It's easy to get a piece of jewelry. It's easy to get a car. Yeah, that's the actual cost. But the cost that usually eats you up is gonna be maintenance. The maintenance of that vehicle, okay? The maintenance of that jewelry, the maintenance of the relationship, the maintenance of the woman. That is the cost that many people don't put up front. Not even the car dealership puts that up front. The car dealer never tells you what the cost of maintenance is step by step. They never say what brakes are gonna cost, what tires are gonna cost. Jewelry they don't tell you what repair of that jewelry is gonna cost, all right? Or if a clamp breaks or something like that, or if it gets stolen and you don't have insurance, all right? That's a cost. What about the risk of having jewelry and you get it stolen or snatched from you? So those are maintenance costs that a lot of people don't think about, all right? And in a relationship, it's the same thing, okay? Entry point in a relationship, easy, low cost, all right? 3 dates at most, maybe less for many men. But the maintenance of the relationship costs a whole bunch, all right? Keeping the person happy, keeping a person pleased, the time that you must invest in that relationship. Man, that's a hell of a cost to maintain the relationship. Going on vacations, all right? And say you get married, you wanna have children, you wanna do these things. These maintenance costs pile up. Same thing is repair. Repair is where you really get messed up, and repair normally comes if you don't even pay maintenance. So if you don't plunk down and invest on your maintenance, you'll end up with repair. And then repair costs way more than maintenance, all right? It means you were neglecting something so much that it broke, or the product was dysfunctional. The product wasn't good enough and it just broke down. And now you gotta have a replacement cost or repair cost. Those are the costs that really eat you alive, and relationships are just like that, right? Same thing with the Porsche 911. The Porsche 911, right, that I bought, I understood up front what the cost would be to buy it, what the cost would be to maintain it, what the cost would be to repair it or replace it, all right? These are all different costs that you must consider, man. Let's take a walk to the garage real quick and let's look in here, all right? So this might, I don't want this to discourage you from your dream or anything like that. We're gonna go into the garage of toys, all right? There's the car right there. You guys normally see it. There's right here the Yamaha. I just moved in here, so don't judge me on my garage. There's the R1, okay? There's the Phaser, Yamaha Phaser. There's the electric bike. But we talking about the car right here, the Batmobile, Mr. Darkseid himself. Now check this out. You see these tires right here. Check these tires out. They're beautiful. The wheels are gold, the tires are the rubber around it. Now, the cost for each tire to be replaced, all right? And we're gonna get into service maybe today or another one, but maybe this is just, we'll just talk about the tires, okay? The cost of the tires to be replaced on this vehicle is not gonna be included in the cost to purchase, okay? That's just the reality of it. The cost to purchase is one price. The cost to maintain it is gonna be another price. What would you think would be the cost of each one of these tires? All right, I had to replace all 4 because they're low profile tires and the tires exhaust pretty quick. All right, they don't last very long, especially if you drive it on a regular basis, in which I'm just gonna assume if you bought the vehicle, you probably wanna drive it, right? You could probably wanna drive it. And if you use it as your everyday driver, If you use it as your everyday driver and you don't have another vehicle, well, then you're stuck. You're absolutely stuck with the maintenance cost of this, and more things are going to need to be maintained and more things are going to be need to be replaced. Okay, so think about that. You have this vehicle. Is this going to be your daily driver? Is this going to be the car that you drive occasionally or for the weekend? If you drive it daily, you're going to have to maintain it a lot more. What do you think is the cost to replace each tire? Now, before I give you the answer, I know I'm playing with you today. Before I give you the answer, both of the tires, the front tires are different size than the back tire. All right, the back tire is wider than the front tire. As you can see here, they're staggered. All right, so this, as you can see the frame, check this out. When you go up, you see how the frame goes out here? Okay, it's wider. So both tires, you can't buy 4 of the same tire. So that means one tire is larger than the other. That means the cost of each tire is different. So the front 2 tires is one cost. The back 2 tires is another cost. This is the same as my BMW. My BMW is the same thing. Check this out. We'll give you the actual retail price. And this is a roundabout. So don't tell me, oh, well, this place screwed you and this place would be cheaper. Depends. All right. I went to a company. I went to an original company to then order the tire. And it took them 6 days. And they still didn't have the tire. So I ended up having to go to the dealership. Both prices were comparative. So neither one of them really screwed me per se. The front tires are roundabout retail, depending on a deal, $589. The back tire, $600. Okay, $689 because it's a bigger tire. All right, you put that all together. By the time they do the wheel balance, rotation, or whatever they need to do, you're talking about $2,200 to $2,400 to replace the tires. Now, let me just tell you, the tires don't last that long because they're low profile. Now, the typical tire you might see an advertisement for a tire. And that advertisement might say $89, all right? $89 for 4 tires, $129 for 4 tires if you're going to Pep Boys or something like that. They might say something like that and you might be like, all right, that's what the actual cost of a tire on a regular car would be. But what would it be on a luxury vehicle or a sports performance vehicle? You might as well 3 or 4 times that cost. And with that being said, you're talking about $2,200 minimum to replace all 4 tires that are not going to last very long. Okay, you see what I mean? And so this, if you're using a car often, if you want to, right? If you're driving, if where you live doesn't have good roads, it's going to eat up your tires. If you're doing spin outs, if you're doing things to, to have fun and you're just speeding off, it's going to cost you more. All right, and that's not even the cost of gas, because you got to use premium gas. Sometimes you might mix in a little racing fuel if you want to vroom, vroom, if you want to burn out. So that's one thing. And with that being said, that's going to lead me into the next point, the real true cost of your time. Well, see, you have costs, you have maintenance costs and repair costs. And these are the things that eat you up in your time. And these are the things that people really don't talk about when they talk about getting into relationships and making commitments. When you're making a commitment to someone, you're committing to maintenance and repair. Sometimes replace. Most relationships end and you'll have to do what? You'll have to replace the individual, unfortunately. And when you're replacing the individual, that's added cost. So with that being said, let me just give you a bit of advice here. Your time is very important. And sometimes people take advantage of your time or they take your time for granted. And this is where you get into the confusions of how to maintain things. We really haven't, as a human species, we really haven't very well tailored how to make commitments work, okay? Most of the commitments work, basically they'll just say the woman sets the rules and you have to meet the expectations, all right? We settled on that for now, but that's not how it really should work. And many of us have realized that men have been getting a raw deal, okay? You might think you've been getting a raw deal in the entire thing, but let's be real. Let's keep this all in perspective. The time that you have on this earth is very limited. The amount of good things that you can make happen in your life is very infinite. Sometimes it takes luck, sometimes it takes preparation, and sometimes opportunities have to be able to open the door, and that combination creates great experiences for you. But sometimes we force it. We force it by trying to find happiness in places where there's no happiness, and you waste a lot of time. And it takes you 10, 20, maybe 30 years to figure out your lessons before you understand what your true value is, the value of the commitment. because the time becomes that important, right? Because you look at it, you said, I made these commitments, and out of the commitments, I wasted this amount of time, or I used this amount of time, and now I don't have that time to get back. But the money you might have been able to make back, but that time you never get back. And you might think about how much time you've wasted and ended up in the same place you were 20, 30 years ago. So we got to understand that time is your most valuable resource. When you make a commitment, you're committed to giving time to something. That's called an investment, and you want a return for that investment. You don't want it to just turn out, well, I tried and it didn't work out. I'll just go try it again. At some particular point, you'll realize the true value of that. With that being said, for men who are listening to this channel and this information, when it comes to commitment, a lot of times people think you just give it away or you just try or practice. Your commitment matters a lot. What you commit to is to not be taken very frivolously. You must take it seriously. Not only must you make it seriously or take it seriously, you must, and that's my dog Nova running all over the place. What are you doing? Chillax, all right? She can't seem to relax while I'm recording. But with that being said, when they just say, just commit, just do it, just get married, just do this, what they're not telling you is the value of your time, what your commitment is worth, what the maintenance cost is to keep that commitment, and what the repair cost or replacement cost would be if that commitment doesn't work. See, that commitment is of the utmost importance, and that's why they want you to give it, and that's fair, okay? That's fair. They want you to give it. However, by the time you're giving it, most people aren't telling you the value of it. They're only telling you the value of the person that you're giving the commitment to. This is where men miss out. Your true value is your commitment and your time. And don't be reckless with it. That's all I wanted to say for this one. And I hope I brought it all home for you, man. Look, when you want good things, they come at a great cost. The great cost is just not the cost of, it's the maintenance of and the repair. Just like this damn dog making all this damn noise. Hey, no, chill. Just like that dog, there was a cost for the dog. Then there's a cost to feed the dog. There's a cost to keep the dog healthy. There's a cost to entertain the dog. There's a cost for everything, all right? And then hopefully I don't have to replace the dog, all right? Shout out to the dog, Nova. Nova's her name. Follow her, Nova Star Lab on Instagram. I'll put the link in the description box below, or I'll put it in here in this video if I have time to cut it. All right, but there's all of these costs. So I hope you guys take consideration of how important all of those things are before you give them away. All right, your seed is valuable, your time and your commitment is very valuable. Don't give it away. We out of here. Peace.